Denny Hamlin goes back-to-back at Dover. Was it a good race? Dillon's Cinderella run continues. Did Chase Elliott hand away a victory on Sunday at Dover? And NASCAR? Sounds like they're going to race on a naval base in 2026. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. Now, this was being broadcast on, let's say, TNT. They would probably replace my face with Eric Estep. Oh, they're both YouTube guys, so that's the same person. Because that's what TNT did to poor Shane Van Gisbergen on Sunday at Dover. When they were going through the starting lineup before the race, they put up the 88 graphic, and the picture they put up, not Shane Van Gisbergen. Instead, it was JJ Yeley, who is very much not from New Zealand, also does not drive the 88 car. He does drive the 44 car, and 44 times 2 is 88, so maybe there's some, logic to be had in that, I guess. I'm not really sure what the thought process was there, but the 2009 Formula One World Champion JJ Yeley was not, in fact, in the 88 car. He did not start P6 on Sunday, at Dover. Let's get into the actual race, though. We're going to start off with Denny Hamlin going back-to-back at Dover. Wins last year, wins again this year, picks up his third Miles the Monster trophy. He's now got one for every kid, so that's a positive. If you're one of his kids looking forward to inheriting his trophy collection someday, you will all now get a Miles the Monster. But was it a good race? I think that's the question. A lot of people are going to ask, and I'd give this race a 60. It was a bit of a dud. It was like, hey, you tried, let's try again, because I think there's a better version of it out there. I believe in you. Let's try again. And unfortunately, we're not going to get to try again until next year, which maybe that is fortunate, because the Gen 7 car has certainly struggled at Dover. But keep in mind, try to think about this. When's the last time you saw a really good race at Dover? It's been a while. Dover is not exactly known for producing great racing. 2016 spring race, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth. I think that might be the last time I can remember a truly fun race at the end there. One that, felt like it was a battle throughout the day. I don't know. Dover's never really been my favorite track. I know it's struggled at times. It's down to one date now. Its other date went to Nashville Super Speedway, another concrete track. But for the most part, it also looked like the fans maybe didn't also want to be there either, because there was a lot of empty seats on Sunday at Dover. Now, I got a lot of people. The Dover fandom, they came for me like they were Chase Elliott fans, and they were like, it's so hot out here, nobody wants to sit here, everybody's just underneath the grandstand. I do love that. Whenever there's empty seats, the one excuse is, well, everybody's under the grandstands. It's a lot of people under the grandstands, but okay, let's go with that logic here. I just think Dover struggles to sell tickets a little bit. Last year was in April. This year they move it to July, and they had to deal with rain back then, but now you have to deal with heat, around 100 degrees heat index or whatever it was, plus rain. Like, that's an unfortunate situation. And everybody kept saying, well, put this race in the spring or put this race in the fall. Listen, every racetrack in the summer, every fan that goes to a racetrack in the summer wishes that race was either in the spring or in the fall, because it's just hot out. Dover doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Same way New Hampshire doesn't, but that's an SMI decision. And putting it back in the spring, you're going to deal with rain again. So I don't know what the perfect solution is for Dover, but it's unfortunate. The race, though, it struggled at times. And part of it is the Gen 7 car just hasn't put on very good racing at Dover, which, okay, they raced the intermediate package at Dover. Maybe we tried the, short track package, a little bit less downforce, try to create some off-throttle time. I really think that's going to help out things at Dover. They also tried a different tire this year as well. Never tire tested it. Didn't even get any practice in qualifying since that was rained out on Saturday. Went straight into it with the race. And the tire laid rubber, but it didn't have the fall off I think people were looking for. And that kind of showed itself in the race a little bit. The race got started off with Chase Elliott taking the lead on lap 15 and kind of just checking out from the field. He ended up leading 238 of the 407 eventual laps on Sunday, but had to settle for a sixth place finish, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Probably the big talking points of the race were, one, the Chase Elliott pit stop issue and his pit call, which, again, I'll talk about that in the second segment because it was a little bit baffling. But you also had Christopher Bell, and for the most part, not much happened in stage 1 and stage 2 overall. In stage 1, you had Daniel Suarez racing Chase Elliott really hard to not go a lap down, and when your leader is struggling to pass the 30th place car, you can kind of see some flaws in maybe the package that they're running there. He did eventually get around Suarez, but Suarez doesn't give an F about helping out any of his Chevy teammates any longer now that he announced that he won't be back at Trackhouse next year. Chase Elliott wins stage number 1. Christopher Bell wins stage number 2. In stage number 3, Bell restarts on the outside. Side by side on that first lap after the restart, he spins out by himself in turn 3. Not ideal, but his race wasn't over by any means from there. We then fast forward a little bit into stage number 3, and you have Christopher Bell. He's out there. We had green flag pit stops. Bell's running long. He's trying to trap everybody lap down, trying to hope that rain comes, and if the rain does come, it ends the day. Well, the rain did come. It did not end the day, but there were only 7 cars on the lead lap when Bell pitted. So that was the logic there for Chase Elliott to pit. It's like, oh, there's not that many cars here. We can pit, get new tires, and that would, go from there. Well, for Bell, it worked out super well because he was able to restart on the on the lead lap again and didn't get stuck back in the traffic. He was right back up at the front. Great. Well, then the actual rain came and delayed the race by about an hour. Now, one big thing about this, there are 14 laps left in the race. The amount of people that were like, just call it. There's no sense in just waiting around for an hour to run 14 laps. Keep in mind, last week at Sonoma, fans were losing their minds. You got to red flag the race. You got to preserve laps. At Sonoma, a track that the internet tells me that they're tired of road courses. You want to preserve laps there. We go back to an oval and there's 14 laps to go and they're like, nah, just go ahead and call it. What? No. You have 14 laps. You have plenty of daylight. The sun's going to come out, and the sun did pop as soon as the rain shower went through. Dry this track out. Let's finish this race, right? There's a lot of people in the stands that want to see this race get finished. And NASCAR, to their credit, sent the Air Titans out there. They dried the track, like 56-minute rain delay. Like, that is quick to have rain come through and then dry the track out as well. We get back, and Denny Hamlin restarts on the outside, Christopher Bell on the inside. Bell ends up spinning out coming off of turn 4 on the restart there. Again, spins out going to turn 3 by himself, spins out in turn 4 by himself. Denny never touched him. And Bell spins out in front of the entire field, does not get hit at all. You couldn't do that on 71 if you wanted to, or 75. You spin out on a highway, you're absolutely going to get clobbered. There's a lot of morons out there. Somehow, everybody on a racetrack that is super narrow and they're going very fast managed to not hit him. However, Noah Gragson and William Byron both crashed into the inside wall. Heavy damage for both of them. For Byron, a crucial wreck, a absolutely abysmal run for him over the last few weeks. Back in Mexico, he had a 68-point lead in the regular season point standings. Now, he trails Chase Elliott by 16 points. How the tables have turned for that 24 car, who has had speed this year, has given away some wins, and now probably really wishes that he had capitalized on those wins. For Gragson, it ruins a pretty decent day for him as well, but it sets up another restart. The 22 of Joey Logano, the 60 car of Ryan Preece make contact, and ultimately it's Zane Smith who brings out the caution from getting pinballed around right there. Sets up the final restart. Denny is able to hold off his teammate Chase Briscoe, who is on fresher tires. Briscoe maybe could have cleared him and said after the race, if it wasn't a teammate, if Denny Hamlin wasn't his teammate, he would have tried to clear him on corner exit, but didn't want to crash both cars and then let a Hendrick car win. So he made a business decision. Like he's Cam Newton. Hate that move for it. Would love to see him just kind of send it, but I get the logic behind it, I guess. Denny Hamlin goes on to win the race, gets showered with booze, and I think it kind of left everybody being like, well, we waited around to see, the guy that was going to win anyways, but you still have to finish the race, right? Like, I don't like the logic of being like, there's only 14 laps. Just go ahead and, get rid of it. Well, no, let's finish this off here. That's what everybody here came to see. One takeaway from this race, I think we're getting a blossoming feud happening. I think Joey Logano versus Ross Chastain has the potential to turn into an absolute slobber knocker of a back and forth between two guys that just don't like each other and give 0 inches on the racetrack. Logano is still mad about Chicago, where he says that Ross wrecked him on purpose. And anytime he got around the one car today at Dover, or on Sunday rather, he absolutely ran into Ross Chastain. And there's only so many times you can poke Ross Chastain before he's going to take that watermelon and smash over Joey's head like he's Gallagher. And I'm here for it, because they are two polarizing characters within the fan base. Joey Logano seems to be universally hated by most fans. Ross Chastain seems to be universally liked by most fans. And now you have this potential war that's going to happen between the two of them. Silver Spoon Joey Logano, hardworking, blue-collar Ross Chastain. Pick your side here. And I think it could be good. I'm just saying, I think it could be highly entertaining for the rest of the summer if they do, in fact, want to run into each other more often than not. So keep an eye on that. Overall, Dover was just okay. It's nothing I would necessarily write home about, but let's talk about the point standings real quick because everybody that was above the cutoff gained points on Sunday. And some people are sitting a lot more comfortable than others. Tyler Reddick is now plus 156 over the cut line. He is super safe, unless, of course, there's 4 new winners that don't include him over the next 6 races. Then you have Alex Bowman. He gained like 31 points on Sunday. He is now plus 63 over the cutoff line. He is a full race ahead of the cutoff line, which is key for him. Chris Buescher is plus 44, and Bubba Walls, who was plus 2 last week, is now plus 16. Ryan Preece lost points. Kyle Busch lost, I believe, 2 points. He's now minus 39. I still think he can point his way in. I know it's never been done, but I wouldn't say never quite yet for him. Ty Gibbs is minus 52. Michael McDowell minus 77. I think they are into must-win situations for both of them. But for Ty Gibbs, he's climbed up the point standings. I mean, think back. Earlier this year, we were talking about hitting the panic button because he was like 30th in points. He's now like 16th in points overall. A great rebound for that 54 team. We'll see how it plays out for them. In the top 10, you had Denny Hamlin, obviously winning the race. Chase Briscoe in second. Alex Bowman third. Kyle Larson fourth. Ty Gibbs, a top 5 run for him. Chase Elliott, Bubba Walls, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, and Brad Keselowski rounding out your top 10. 2 cars in the top 10 for RFK once again this week. Didn't get all 3, which they've been, doing a couple times this year, but still good rebound days for those guys. Kyle Busch finished P11, and after the race, Richard Childress came over the radio and said, we got to get some race cars, period. Which, all right, I mean, the guy's driving, doing the best he can with the equipment that he's got. I know they don't want to move out of Welcome, but maybe moving closer to Concord, Mooresville, Charlotte area would certainly help them out. But they're pretty invested up there in Welcome, North Carolina. Speaking of the Dillons and invested and Richard Childress and all that stuff, Ty Dillon, the Cinderella story in the in-season challenge. The run continues. If the glass slipper fits, put it on Ty Dillon, and he's got it firmly onto his foot. He advances to the final of the in-season challenge. He will face off against Ty Gibbs at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway next weekend for $1 million. Neither driver's ever won a NASCAR Cup Series race. They're both grandsons of NASCAR Hall of Famers, who both happen to own race teams. They're going to race for $1 million now. Ty Dillon defeated John Hunter Nemechek on Sunday at Dover. Ty Gibbs defeated Tyler Reddick on Sunday. And I'll say this, Ty Gibbs did have mechanical issues last year at Indianapolis. So the Cinderella run might not be over for Ty Dillon just yet. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I don't necessarily know if this was the vision that TNT and NASCAR had for the in-season challenge. Ty Dillon versus Ty Gibbs. It'll be a tie in victory lane. I don't know if they'll have a victory lane. It'll be a tie celebrating with $1 million next week at Indianapolis. All right, the Chase Elliott issue. Let's talk about that real quick because Chase Elliott fans, they keep their hand very close to the pitchfork at all times, and they might have it. They might be, gripping it. I don't know if they're picking it up yet, but they're not happy. So in Sunday's race, like we talked about in the last segment, when the rain came, when Bell was running long and trapped a lot of people a lap down, Chase Elliott and his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, they kicked around whether or not they wanted to pit. And they went back and forth, and it was pretty indecisive. And then when pit road opens, that's when Alan calls Chase down pit road, which, okay, that's certainly a decision to make. And when they bring him down pit road, they only take right side tires. And the thought process was there is that everybody was spaced out pretty far. If they didn't take right side tires, then they were going to lose more track position. All right, but if you're worried about losing track position, just stay out because they gave up a front row starting spot to come down and take just right sides, which didn't pay off for them at all. I think in this situation, you either got to take all 4 or you had to stay out. And hindsight 2020, super easy for me to sit here on a Monday morning and be like, yeah, you should have stayed out there because guess what? The guy that won the race stayed out as well. And for Chase and his fans, I know the fans are upset with Alan. It was a bad pit call. I think Alan Gustafson would probably go back and say that as well. Probably should have stayed out in that situation. In the moment, though, it's a hard one to make, right? Because you're only going to restart. He restarted P3. He was the second car inside line. So it's not like he gave up a ton of position, but clean air was so vital on Sunday at Dover, and he gave that up. And when he was out front, he checked out, right? He led 238 of 400 laps. Like, he had one of the best cars there on Sunday, or he had the best car out in clean air. When he got back into traffic, he had a pit issue earlier on in the race when the car fell off the jack on the left side. He was able to work his way back up through the field, but it was methodical and it took a lot of time. Late in this race with 70-ish laps to go, a little under 70 laps to go, it's going to be hard to make up track position. And again, they didn't give up that much, right? They only went from front row back to second row, but still, it was a struggle for them. And ultimately, they should have stayed out. I think that's definitely the pit call there. That team has a lot of confidence right now. They have a lot of speed. They look great last week in Sonoma. Obviously, they weren't going to touch SVG. They come to Dover, have a lot of speed again. And part of that is starting up front. They had clean air early. They were able to, really just check out from the field. But they led a lot of laps, which is something they typically don't do or haven't done in recent races, especially not this year, and struggled to do it last year as well. He led more laps today than he has the entire season combined up to this point. So they've got the confidence back. They've got the speed. Having this pit issue, and this pit call kind of set them back. It felt like they wasted a day, essentially. They had a P6 finish out of it, and they should have had, at worst, a P2 finish because they should have stayed out and, raced Denny Hamlin for the lead there. And does Chase Briscoe get around him on the fresher tires? Maybe. But as we saw, fresh tires didn't exactly work because Briscoe on fresher tires wasn't able to beat Denny Hamlin, who was on 70-ish lap tires. So, yeah, it's easy, right, to sit here, hindsight 2020, and say, yeah, they should have pitted there. But ultimately, I think they should have pitted, or should not have pitted. Should have stayed out. I think when they go back and look at it, when they had their Monday morning debrief, and maybe when they're put in the same situation again at Dover next year, you stay out in that situation and you don't pit. But I know the Chase Elliott fans are not happy. They are, in my comments on TikTok, they are all over the internet just unhappy with Alan Gustafson. Again, Al Gustafson is a great crew chief. I don't necessarily know who you're going to go pick up, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in the comments that are going to have a lot of opinions about that as well. It appears that NASCAR is going to be racing on a naval base in 2026. I'm not making that up. This isn't a Mad Lib. I'm not just trying to throw things at the wall. Kelly Crandall from Racer.com on Sunday reported that it's confirmed. NASCAR will be racing on Coronado at the naval base in 2026. An announcement is expected this week. Bizarre. That's the only thing that I can keep saying about it. So it sounds like from her story, San Diego will take Chicago's spot on the calendar. Now, does that mean that they're taking the spot or they're taking the date as well? Because they're taking the date, I do actually think a 4th of July race at a naval base on Coronado does make sense because 2026 is the 250th birthday of the United States. What better way to celebrate America than with badass speed on a naval base in California? Get your Top Gun references ready. I guess I'm kind of confused about it, mainly because this doesn't have the accessibility that a race like Chicago did. Chicago was super easy. You stay across the street from the racetrack, you can walk into it, you got the whole city, blah, blah, blah. Coronado is a peninsula. You have to take a ferry there, a bridge, or come all the way up the peninsula. It's narrow streets. It's a residential area. It's not built for a ton of traffic. And I don't know how many tickets they're going to sell for this, but it does feel like a logistical nightmare, right? If you're having it on a naval base, you're inviting in a few thousand just regular citizens. So there's going to have to be security and everything like that. Getting to the track is going to be difficult. Like I said, not a ton of ease of access to the area. But hey, if you can park, some planes and ships in the background and have the cars race around them, then maybe it's worth it for the visual and everything like that. I do wonder if this might just be a one-year deal since Chicago wants to come back in 2027, but we'll see how it plays out. Apparently they used to run vintage races on the runways out there. So think like Burke Lakefront, where IndyCar used to race up in Cleveland. Maybe you're going to get that type of setup, but it's not going to have any elevation change. It's going to be flat because it appears that it's going to be I assume on the runway area. I don't think they're going to run it through the actual base. I don't think. I could be wrong. There's just a lot of things about this that don't make a ton of sense, but hopefully there's an announcement this week. We get a view, potential track layout, and learn some more details about the event. I will say, I did go onto the Hotel del Coronado website and tried to book for the July 4th weekend. Nothing available. You can't book anything. No dates available there. So maybe it's just a big 4th of July thing. Maybe it's because they're going to, have those rooms for teams and dignitaries and everything like that. I don't really know. But if it's on 4th of July weekend, I don't know if I'm going to go to it. If it's not on 4th of July weekend, I'll absolutely go and make the trip and try to see what exactly this is all about, because I think it's going to be a unique race for sure. But regardless, it looks like NASCAR is headed to Coronado in 2026. We'll have to wait and see what the official announcement says this week. So let me know in the comments what you thought about the race. Denny, was it good? What would your score be for it? Chase Elliott, his pit issues, NASCAR racing on Coronado. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok at BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BreakHardBlog.